This is Dan Abbott. I'm making this video to show you how to set up an architectural drawing in DraftSight. Blackboard shows the assignment itself. Go to Unit Assignments, come over here to Unit 6, Architectural and Civil Drawings, and open that up. And you'll see there are two assignments. One you can do either of these assignments, either the floor plan or the civil plan. I'm going to start though by using the architectural. Start by adding some layers. These layers are taken from the American Institute of Architects, AIA is the abbreviation for that. Layer standards. And layer naming standards are common in architectural, not so much in other disciplines. And the standards all involve a field-based layer naming system where any layer having to do with the architectural aspect of a building starts with the letter a little negative, and then whatever it is that you're drawing, which in this case will be the wall, the first layer name. And then new, exist would be another possibility, but we're going to create new walls here. So I'm going to have you create those layer names so that they follow the AIA standard, the AIA standard. So A-wall-new, A-glaze-new for windows, A-door-new for doors. Plumbing, we're not going to put any plumbing fixtures. Well, you might put plumbing fixtures in. You might have the sinks, etc. Cabinets are placed on the cabinet layer. Appliances on the appliance layer. Annotation for dimensions is placed on the A-anno dims, and then any notes that are placed as annotation are placed in the notes dim, and then the title block is placed on A-anno TLBK. If you need center lines, hidden lines, or phantom lines, or border lines for a title block, you'd have those as separate layers. So I have a drawing over here where those layers are already set up. They look like this. We're going to draw on initially the wall layer, the brand new wall layer. So A-wall-new is where I'm going to be drawing. Click OK. The other thing you need to do is set up a dimension style for architectural. That's a little different than the mechanical style we've been using, but not much. If you see, I've got a dimension style set up here, and it's actually the same basic dimension style with the same settings. The addition of a linear child variation is the difference. So if I look at the linear child variation, there are two things that are different about it. One, under the arrows tab, we're using an architectural tick mark, and the size of that tick mark is 1/16 of an inch. Under the text heading, text position is centered and above the line. Text alignment is aligned with the dimension line. And linear dimensions, use an architectural style rather than a decimal style. Precision in this case is set to 1/16 of an inch. I actually set that higher when I do dimensioning so that I can locate any errors that I might have in the drawing as I'm dimensioning it. So I literally use 1/256 of an inch. That way, if there's anything that is not exactly what I intended, for instance, if I want something 40 feet and it's off just a little bit, I'll see some kind of a fraction there to show me that I have an error. As far as the drawing itself goes, you'll want to change your units so that they're also architectural units. Angles will still stay as decimal, but architectural units, and this is the kind of units used for drawing. I'm going to set the precision again to 1/256 so that if I have to do a distance to find out what the distance between two things is, I'll know if I have any errors built into the drawing. I'm not suggesting that fraction would ever show up on a drawing. Anything, in fact, on most floor plans you won't even see fractions, but if there's any fraction at all, the absolute smallest that's likely to be on the drawing itself would be 1/16 of an inch. But again, this is simply so that I can go and check my work to make sure I don't have any errors. The only other thing I want to change is the limits. I'd like the limits to be bigger than what I'm drawing. So since we're drawing a building, we'll go over here and take a look. There's the floor plan right there. Overall, it's 44 feet long, 28 feet wide. So I'd like my limits, I'm going to switch back to DraftSight now. I'd like the limits to be bigger than that. So 60 feet by 40 feet is plenty of room to draw. So now I'm ready to get going. I'm going to start with the rectangle command. I'll start with the lower left hand corner at 0, 0, the upper right hand corner at 44, and I'll just type the foot mark there, comma, 28, again the foot mark. No need to put the inches in. Now I've got a rectangle that represents the shape of that floor plan. I'm going to offset the outside wall, make an 8-inch wall. It might have been a 6-inch, but we'll go 8 inches on this one. So I'll bring the wall in 8 inches. That's the overall wall thickness on the outside. Now I'm going to start adding the individual walls in the interior. The interior and the exterior walls, I'm placing all of them on the same layer. Now what I'd like you to do minimally is to create this floor plan with all of the exterior and the interior walls and the window and door openings. I'd like you to put in windows and doors. show you in a second how to make a simplified door symbol and a simplified window symbol that you can use to do that. So we're going to start with the walls themselves. Now there's a command in DraftSight called mline that allows you to draw multiple lines. I'm over here in the mline command. Since I want the interior walls to be, by the way, it's richline is the actual name of the command in DraftSight. Mline is the name of the command in AutoCAD, which is an alias in DraftSight. So if I come over here, I've got several things I can set. One of them is scale. I'm going to set the scale to 4 because I want 4-inch walls on the inside. The other thing I want to set is J for justification, and I want to set that to 0 so that as I'm drawing in the center. So if you take a look over on the left, the first wall from the left-hand corner over is 17 feet 4 inches over from the outside corner. So in order to draw it, I'm going to hover over that corner, start going to the right, type in 17 feet 4 inches, and you notice it's 17 with a foot mark and the number 4. Now that gives me a double line coming up. I'm going to move up 14 feet, and I'm moving up 14 feet because that's how high this wall goes. Now I'm going to just go straight over. I'm going to straight over until I intercept the wall over here. So I've just created that wall section right here. Now I'll go ahead and put in another wall. The next wall is going to be this one, and since that wall is 3 feet 8 inches from the first wall and it's a double wall, I use the richline command again, zoom in. I'm going to hover on this corner here, but I'm going to the center after this. So what I'm going to do is add 2 inches for the middle section of that wall from where I started. So instead of 3 feet 8 inches, I'm going to go 3 feet 10 inches from there. Now this section goes up, and this is going all the way up to here until it intersects. So I'll go up until I get to go perpendicular to this wall until it stops like that. If I look at the next wall on the other side of the bedroom, it's a total of 10 feet. Since I've already got one wall segment drawn, I can just copy it over 10 feet. But before I do, I'm going to clean up where this comes inside. Now, a richline is actually a single entity, and in order to do any editing on it, I need to explode it. So I'm going to type, X for explode those richlines. So now they just become lines, because now I can go into the trim command and I can clean up those 2 lines right there. We're getting these lines, and I'll go ahead, I'm going to go back in the trim command, and I'm also going to trim in between here because those openings would show up just like that. Now I'm going to copy this pair of lines and go straight to the right 10 feet. I'm going to put the foot mark in there as well. And then I'm going to continue copying. I'm still in the copy command, so I'm going to go another 2 feet 6 inches. So 12 feet 6 inches gives me the next wall. And again, this is the wall right here for that closet. We'll just kind of finish up this area. So I've got another wall that's 4 feet 8 inches up that closes that storage area in right there. Since it's 4 feet 8 from the outside wall, and I know my outside wall is 8 inches, I'm going to start by hovering over the end point of this line. So I've acquired that. I'm going to go up 4 feet because I'm starting already 8 inches in. I come across like this. So now I should have cleaned that up, but I'll go back and clean it up afterward. That'll be easy enough to do. So we've got a closet over here, and if you notice, it's 5 feet 10 inches from the outside up to that center line in that closet. So I'll do another mline command, and I'll start from here and hover and go up. I'll hover over that and go up. I'm going to go up 5 feet 2 inches, and then come across to here as well. And again, I'm going to clean that up a little later on. And again, I went 5 feet 2 inches because I started on the outside with the dimension on this floor plan, but I actually started on the inside when I drew this over here. Next wall is 5 feet 2 above that, so I'm just going to copy this, pick these 2 things, go straight up 5 feet 2. So that's the other wall on this. We can clean that up as well. Now what I'm going to do is explode all of these M lines that I've just created because I want to go ahead and be able to do some trimming. So if I use a trim command and say trim between those 2 lines, I can clean this up. Come back over here, use the trim command. Got ahead of myself. Use the trim command using this as a trim line. Now I can get rid of those lines right there. I went too far. I only wanted to get rid of this first one, so I'm going to just undo back. Now I'll trim again. I'm going to get rid of those two lines. This one should keep going through. Now I use a trim command, and I'll clean up this wall segment by picking each of these little pieces, including this one. And this one. Again, this is all with the trim command that I'm doing this now. After exploding the rich lines, by the way. So I'll go back in the trim command. Those are my new trim lines. This is going to get trimmed back from here to here. Little section gets trimmed out there. That section gets trimmed out here, here, and here. So that's how you lay out the double line walls, and that's how you clean things up. We'll do a little more over here. The trim command. I'm undoing that because that was not what I intended. Go back again. Okay, the trim command, when you press enter after you indicate the trim command, it picks every single line on the drawing as a trim line, which is what just got me in trouble. So now I'm going to clean up this by bringing it back here, bring this here, clean this piece, and then I'm just using a crossing window to go through here. So that's how you lay out the walls when you put this together. So now let's put some openings in here. We'll go to the front door, which on the left hand side is right here. It says 90/68. That means it's 90 inches from here to here, and it's a 6'8" tall door. 6'8" is a standard door size. If you look at this little one, 26, it's 26 inches is the opening size. So that first number is the opening size in these cases. 8'4" over to the center line of the front door. So I'm going to start by drawing a line from this corner, and I'll bring it over 8 feet 4 inches. And from here I'm going to go straight up. Now this is the center of my door opening. So I'll offset that 45 inches since the width is 90 inches. That's got big lights on the side of it. That's why it's got such a wide width. So that is the opening for that front door. Now, bring that little piece back. The actual door itself is a 36-inch door. So since it's a 36-inch door, I'm going to offset the center line 18 inches both ways. And what I've just done is laid out the sides of the opening itself for this door. Now I can go ahead and draw in a window and a raised sill. And that window and the raised sill are just going to be drawn with individual lines. If you take a look, it's a pretty simplified system. So I can actually take this, bring it to here, this line, bring it to here. Now I'm going to draw a line that goes down the middle. So I'm going to go to the midpoint to the midpoint, midpoint to the midpoint, and that symbol is good enough for what we're doing. In fact, if I look at it, I guess I can bring this in as well. I didn't really need to trim that out quite so far. Now let's talk about blocks, because what I want is a door symbol that I can use, and I'm going to use that door symbol in a number of different places. Look on the left-hand side. That opening right there is 36 inches. This opening over here is 26 inches. We've got several other doors of different sizes. There's a 30-inch door right here, and a few more 26s. There's a 20. So that's, again, the width of the doors. So I'm going to show you how to make a block so that you can put a block symbol in here. And to make a block, we're going to draw a door symbol and then turn it into a block. Some blocks, when you make them, can be drawn in a special way known as a unit size blocks, and some blocks have to be drawn full size. So a block is just a symbol. If I were going to draw, for instance, a symbol representing that stove, it would just be a rectangle with 4 circles, double circles. I would draw that the actual size of a stove. But for a door, because the same door symbol can be used over and over again, what I'm going to do is to zoom in, and I'm going to create a block that is a door size of 1 inch. And I'll show you in a second why, but what it really means is I'm going to use that block for any size door by bringing it in scaled to the size that I want. So I'll start by drawing a circle. The circle will have a radius of 1 inch. And then I'll draw a line. And I'll draw the line, I'll go at 45 degrees. I'm going to go just a little bit beyond the circle itself. I'll draw another line that comes across. And now I'm going to trim the circle out, erase this line, and you see I've got a basic door symbol that looks like the one over here that says 9068. So now I'm going to go into the block command. The block command is called the block definition. It asks me for the name, so I'm going to do door. It asks me to select a base point. In this case, my base point is going to be the end of that line. It asks me to select some objects, so I'll come over here and select those objects. And then I am going to remove these two lines from the drawing. So now I'm going to back out. I'd already made a block symbol once, so now I'm going to insert that block symbol. When I do the insert command, it comes up and asks me what scale I want. And I'm going to make this one a scale of 36 inches. Because I'm scaling it up 36 inches, it should come in at the right size and allow me to just snap right to this corner, put it inside, and nothing happens. And well, here's my door symbol right here. Snap to the end of the line, but it went to the wrong end of the line. So there's my door symbol, and that door symbol is designed to have a 1-inch size from here to here, and because it's a 36-inch door, it fits right in. I just realized why that didn't come in the way I expected it to. Let me erase it. I'll go back to the insert command. And one thing I had not done is checked off specify later, which means specify on the drawing itself. So it was placing it at 0, 0, 0. Now when I come in, it looks like that. I can snap to a location and just insert my door. I'm going to add another door up here for the stairs, and I'll use that as a way of demonstrating how to put in that door symbol when it's not a 36-inch door. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little line right there. I'm going to offset this. Let's make that a 30-inch door. So I'll go 15 inches on either side. Now I can use the trim command, clean that up, erase this. I'm going to clean that up. I went a little too far when I drew that. Now I have another door. This is this one right over here that I need to put in. Once again, I'll go and insert a door, but now I'll change it from 36 to 24. Comes in and I snap it into place. Oh, I'm sorry, to 30. Insert the door at 30 inches, snaps it right into place, and it fits right in. That's the way I want it to fit in. Another door down here. It's going to be centered, so I'll do another centered from here. Forgotten that won't intercept unless I come down here. Now offset 26, so it's going to be an offset of 13. Offset that 13 both ways. Go in the trim command, trim that out. Now I'm going to bring that door symbol in again. Now this time it's not going to be oriented in quite the same way. I'm going to want to put it in a different location and then either mirror it or mirror it when I bring it in. Simplest thing right now for me is to put a 26-inch door right here, specify where it's going to go, to put it here. Now the reason I'm putting it like that is because first I'm going to rotate it and then I'm going to mirror it. So when I mirror the door, I'm going to mirror it right around, actually I want to mirror it around that midpoint. Now I had erased that little line in there. If I type oops, it'll come back. So now I can say I'd like to mirror this symbol right here. Right around the midpoint, this line right here. So my entities, go back in the mirror command. I'm going to mirror this symbol right around the midpoint of this, and I'll go straight down, come in that direction, and I'll say get rid of the original one. Now I can move this symbol from here to here, and now I can rotate that symbol 90 degrees, so it comes in and looks like that. And I can erase this. It would also been possible for me to make another symbol that was already in that orientation, and it's also possible in the insert command to modify it so when it comes in correctly, but if you can put it in and then move it around, that'll be fine. That's the basic layout of the floor plan and how you're going to put those things in there. You can make a window symbol and do the same thing I did with the door symbol. And let me see how many minutes this is. Yeah, we're at 20 minutes right now, so let me just now show you how to do some dimensioning. Dimensioning is going to first require that you do a layout. Let's put this on B-size paper. B-size paper in this case already has a title block because I had a student put his title block in here. So we'll use his title block and I'll provide you with an architectural title block. So over in the layout, what I want to do initially is to go over to B-size. I need to go to Print Configuration Manager. Print Configuration Manager, you can see there's already a print configuration called B-size PDF. Take a look at that and we edit it. It's set up to go to an Adobe PDF file. It's an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. It's 1:1. Units should be inches. 1:1 inches. Close the whole thing out. So there's our sheet of paper with our border in it. Now I'm going to go to the MV command for multi-view. Bring the view across like this. And what I need now is to set my plot scale. Through the plot scale, I'm going to open up the properties window again. Properties window opens up. I double click in here. I go over the side and I'm looking for a custom scale. And I'm going to start with 1/4 of an inch equals a foot, which is a standard architectural scale. 1/4 of an inch equals a foot looks pretty good. I think there's enough room for all the dimensions there. Now I'm going to lock that viewport right here by saying yes. Get rid of that so we have a little more room. Now as we start putting our dimensions in, what we need to do is to dimension to halfway between each one of these walls. So we'll put our first dimension in here, and that first dimension is going to be a linear dimension. Go to the pull down, pick linear. What I want to do is go from this corner right here to the center of this first opening. In order to do that, I can hold down the shift key, right click, pick midway between 2 points, and I can just pick these 2 points, say snap halfway in between them, put my dimension down here. There's a problem with my dimension. It's much too small, so I'm going to go fix that. I'm going to go, and this, by the way, that's just the user coordinate system icon. I should probably get that off so that this doesn't distract you. I'm going to go back to my dimension mode. Imperial, linear dimension, and under linear dimension we want our dimensions to be under fit, that is. We want our dimensions to be scaled according to the sheet. Now the overall parent style is, but I think I probably made a mistake here. I did. I never changed the linear style so that it was from the scale factor of 1 to a scale dimensions according to sheet. Now we'll apply, pick OK, come back out. Now you can see that dimension looks a little bit better. Now in order to do the additional dimensions, we're going to use the continuous dimension command. So if I go to continue here, do the same thing, shift right click, midway between 2 points, go from here to here. Now you notice that's exactly 9 feet, even though as I move my mouse you see these sort of odd sizes coming. Shift right click, midway between 2 points, goes from here to here. Shift right click, midway between 2 points, go from here to here. Shift right click, midway between 2 points, here to here. And then this last one's going to go right on the corner. Now if you notice, in each of these cases you've got dimensions that are in whole numbers, and they're the same dimensions I used to draw the part itself. I draw the floor plan itself. This dimension looks like it could almost have gone inside. I think it can, so I'm just going to bring it inside so it looks like that. And then the other dimensions you would put on would be the same. After you do the individual openings, then go to the individual walls inside. And after that you do the overall dimensions. I think that should be enough to get you going. You're going to lay out the walls like that. You're going to make your blocks. Don't bother to do the elevations unless you want to. The more of the floor plan you get done, the better grade you'll get, but you'll get a reasonable grade if you do just the overall floor plan, the interior walls, and the openings for windows and doors. And that's getting a little lengthy, so I'm going to stop this.